not in a good place. Like anybody like tries to land on me or like whatever they're gonna do, somebody gets aggressive with me, I'm gonna lay them the fuck out or die trying, whatever. Um, so, but they didn't. Everybody was so nice to me, and I think they were scared of me. I don't know. Like I definitely didn't wasn't trying to intimidate anybody. I was just like hoping everybody would leave me alone. And I guess my body language, I know that my body language broadcasts that pretty well. People pick up on it when I don't want to be messed with, and they normally do leave me alone, which is nice. It's real nice these people leave me alone. People are like giving me ramen noodles and stuff. They're like, "Hey man, want some noodles?" Like giving me noodles. I was in there for 2 days, and I had like a stockpile of snacks. By the end of it, I'm gonna turn down a gift. It'd be rude. Not rude. I think the first guy that gave me noodles, he was like, "Hey man, you want some? I got some extra ramen noodles. You want some?" Like real community, real. It said Southern hospitality. Like it was crazy. Gives me these noodles, and I'm like, I'm not doing anything to pay for these, right? I'm so stupid. Never been to jail. I don't know how it fucking goes down. I feel like there's unwritten rules and stuff. I don't know. A bunch of people are probably just as confused as me, but half of them probably just as confused as me. Probably a couple of them have been through there a few times, know what's going down, but I didn't know what the fuck was going on. I was like, I'll take your noodles, but just the ramen. That's it. That's all that's happening here. Is you're giving me ramen noodles of your own free will. There's no strings attached to this. And I basically, the good thing about not having your Adderall when you're addicted to it, like physically addicted to it, when you go to jail, is that it is very easy to sleep. So I pretty much slept for 48 hours with they would come around to hand out meals, which were not. I mean, I've been in the army. Prison food's not that bad. It's not. Um, Cut to the chase, Ben. Tell the story. All that to say, I was stubborn, and I was like, state of Florida is not getting a penny of my money. I'm not spending any money on this. I'm going to sit in jail until a court date comes around, and I'm going to beat this in court. Because I didn't fucking do anything. This crazy bitch got me put in jail. Vindictively throwing a hand grenade over her shoulder because she was mad that I wouldn't be her victim anymore. And I almost forgot the timing of it. I had put in for vacation at work. I almost said leave. Put in for vacation at work, and I told everybody at work that I was going to Indiana, and I had not told anybody in Indiana that I was coming. It was supposed to be a surprise. So then I got arrested, and everybody in Florida thought I was in Indiana, and everybody in Indiana thought I was in Florida. Nobody knew I was in jail. But my one friend is like, yeah, Ben's not answering his text messages, and that's not like him. Which is, by the way, public service announcement. This is a good reason to fucking text people back when they text you. Like, I understand if somebody's a creep and you don't want to be their friend, to not text them back. Like, if you don't want to be friends with somebody, you don't have to text them. But if you do want to be somebody's friend and they text you, you should text them back. And not just because if you don't, you're a dick, but also because this is how they knew that I was in jail. Because I fucking answer my text messages. When somebody texts me, I text them back. Okay? So, the fact that I wasn't answering my text messages, she was like, oh, Ben always answers his text messages. He hasn't texted back. It's not like him. It's weird. And they got online and they looked and they found out that I was in jail. And they bailed me out. And I've helped them out ever since. I mean, we were friends before. I helped them out before. But And then after that, I dropped the stubbornness about I just want this over. I don't care how much money it costs. And, if I can afford the quickest route to this being over. And so it ended up costing a lot of money to prove I was innocent, basically, or to stay out of prison. end up costing me a lot of money when I didn't do a damn thing wrong, which is the system in this country. So, you know, it's messed up, but it's the I'm not trying to bring everybody down here. Like I'm not in prison, and I intend to stay out of prison. Whatever. So, oh, by the way, this outlaw sweater that I'm wearing, I'm not in a motorcycle gang. I'm not in the Outlaws. I've never even owned a motorcycle. I had a mini bike. It's 127 cc's. It was shaped like a motorcycle, and because I'm like a medium-sized guy, from a distance, it kind of looked like a really big person on a crotch rocket. But then once I got up close, you're like, oh no, that's just a smallish guy. Like, I don't know if I'm smallish. I'm 5'8", 200 pounds. It's a medium guy on a really tiny bike. Is what it is. We would do 80 kilometers per hour. It was, it only cost me like $300 or $600, and I didn't have a car and I needed to get to work. It didn't have brakes. But it was light enough that I could just put my boots on the ground and I could stop faster than a car can stop. So I rode it that way for a while. Anyways, the point is, my ex-wife's mother left this sweater in my house, and I just happened to put it on. Of course, when the cops come knocking on my door today, I'm wearing a fucking support your local outlaws hoodie. Oh, great. So now I'm gonna go to jail, and they're gonna put gang affiliation on my fucking police report. I don't know. Maybe the cops like the outlaws around here. I'm in cartel country, I think. Tucson, Arizona. I don't feel like the outlaws are a big problem out here. I don't know. Whatever. All the days I decided to randomly throw on an outlaw sweater, it's just like I needed to go to the ATM so that I could get money to pay for the hotel because their card machine's down. So I threw on a sweater. And then cops show up and I'm wearing an outlaw sweater. So yeah. So there's the story within the story about my friends that got me out of jail. And why I'm loyal to them. The only reason I brought that up was to tell you, Stormy taught me that I could dance, I could perform, I can do this, and it really opened up my mind. And she was smart and funny and easy on the eyes, if you know what I mean. And whatever. So she's telling me this story. It was, like, in hindsight, it's obvious. I can see it. Oh, she was the victim at her mom's house. She was the victim of this girl that took her to the Ravens, Mr. and Mrs. Ravens' house, and she was the victim of the Ravens. And then she's living in a fucking park, and the cops are harassing her. Cops in fucking Alabama or Georgia or wherever they are, just as bad as Florida. Maybe worse. And the government in some of them southern states not real friendly when it comes to homeless people, which is basically what she was, a homeless person. And she had a truck, so living out of her truck in a park. And I'm like, man, I got a house. Like, you can stay at my house if you need to. Which I never would have done because, like, the last time she was in my house, she fucking wigged out and ghosted me. But, like, she's getting harassed by the cops, and, like, it was the middle of the summer, no air conditioning. It's just not a good scene. Let me stay at my house. So she's staying at my house. It's not really costing me much. Turn the electric back on. You pay the electric. Whatever. No big deal. Well, then things start going wrong at the house. And she's like, whatever. Like, she's miserable. She's sick. She's whatever. It's not working. The house isn't working. The fuses, that's what it was. It got cold in Florida, and we started trying to plug in space heaters, and fuses started blowing, and she didn't understand. Which the wiring in that house is nuts. There's a fuse box and a breaker box. I don't even want to get into it, but she starts, the fuse is blowing, and it's like just one thing after the next is going wrong for, according to her. And I wanted her to come out anyways. I like her. I wanted her to come out here. So I was like, I don't know what to tell you. I mean, like, if it's not working, you can't fix it. Like, I'm in Arizona. I don't know what to tell you. I'm like, all I can offer you out here is a hotel room. I'm staying in a hotel. If you come out and you want to find a place that's cheaper than a hotel for us to stay in, as long as it's not like, insane, locking me into an insane lease, like that'd be fine. You come out, you can find us a place. And that was the idea. And she got out here and she's just been miserable the whole time. She's been unhappy. She's been angry. She's just like turned into a different person. She was cool for like a couple of days, and then she just started being like angry at me all the time. I'm like, dude, like, I just kind of want to chill out and watch some Netflix right now. And she's just mad, just yelling. I'm like, look, I don't want to have these conversations, blah, blah. Long story short, she doesn't want me to drink, right? She doesn't want me to drink. She doesn't want me to smoke. She doesn't want me to do drugs, which is cool. That's fine. At least the smoking at least the smoking part, it's fine that she doesn't want me to do that. I don't want to smoke either. So I quit smoking, which I didn't do it for her. I did it for me. I quit smoking. But like, occasionally, I'd have a moment of weakness and I'd buy a pack of cigarettes, and usually I would smoke one of those cigarettes and then just leave the pack at the gas station. I wasn't hiding it. It wasn't like a term of her coming out here either. But like, one time, I got a pack of cigarettes and I didn't do that. I ended up smoking the whole pack over the course of a couple of days. And I went outside because somebody was hollering, and she was all freaked out. Somebody was hollering outside, so I went outside to make sure everything was safe. Try to make her feel better. I smoked a cigarette while I was out there. And she's like, were you smoking? And she's upset about this for days. She's like, I feel betrayed. I'm like, come the fuck on. And betrayed you by smoking a cigarette? I was like, and I didn't, like, it's pure bullshit is what it was. Manipulative, whatever. I'm trying to tell the story in a funny way, but like, I am kind of pissed about it still. So whatever. So like, she makes a big thing about the fact that like, I don't always want to hang out. Sometimes I just want to like watch some Netflix, So watching Netflix, whatever, and she's not liking it, and she's yelling at me, and I'm like, look, okay, when somebody's in my face yelling, right, and they are a smaller person than me, and it is illegal for me to punch them, when I start to feel my blood pressure going up, and I start having violent fantasies while they're screaming in my face, I'm like, hey, this conversation is getting too heated, and we need to talk some other time. We need to stop talking right now and cool off and talk later. She wasn't having it, so I would leave. I would leave the situation physically, get the fuck out, because I'm not trying to lose my temper, I like have somebody screaming in my face for long enough. I'm gonna lose my temper if I don't leave. You know this, like you can't. I'm human. I have emotions, like I'll control myself. I will control myself, but like I'm just gonna leave. It's easier to just leave. I'll come back. We can talk about it calmly. If you can be calm, we can talk about anything. That's where I was at, and she's just like, well, I feel like you're just never gonna talk about it, and it was weird. Like, I don't know what her intentions are. That's one thing I've learned is you drive yourself crazy and you're gonna suffer a lot more if you think you know why people are doing what they're doing. Fuck why they're doing it. I don't care why she was doing it. It's what they're doing. Judge the action based on the action's merits as an action. I don't care why you're doing it. I don't care. It's what you're doing that matters. Um, so what she was doing was basically manipulating me to make me sit there and get yelled at for extended periods of time, longer than I cared to get yelled at for. You know, uh, I don't deserve to be yelled at by the person who I'm supporting out of the kindness of my heart for whatever the fuck she wanted to yell at me about. So, because I called her cat greedy, she got really upset with me because I called her cat greedy. I, I should have known the cat's off limits, but I didn't mean it as an insult. I was 4:30 in the morning. I just put my feet on the floor and the cat meow, meow. That feed me meow that they do. Like, I know what it means. Like, it's different than the other sounds it makes. So there's a sound that it makes when its food bowl is empty and I'm up and moving around. And I'm like, give me a second, greedy cat. I just woke up. And she's like, don't insult him. She's so mad. I'm like, okay, man, whatever. I'm sorry I said you have a greedy pussy. It wasn't intended as an insult. How could that possibly not be intended as an insult? Totally missing the humor in the situation. She had no sense of humor at all, which is not going to work because I like to make jokes. They're not always great. Like, I make a lot of jokes. Not all of them are winners, but some of them are pretty funny. Some people think I'm funny. She did not think I was funny. I made myself laugh a lot more than I made her laugh, which is, whatever. But yeah. So because I put my foot down and I'm like, look, dude, like, we will talk about it if you need. Basically, that's what she said. Is that me saying that I don't want to talk about it because it's too heated, which is what I was doing. I'm saying, like, this conversation is too emotional and it's gonna escalate to violence probably. Like, I don't know if she was gonna hit me or the other way around, but either way, this is the situation I'm trying to avoid. I don't want anybody hitting anybody. Okay. I don't want anybody to hit anybody. I'm against domestic violence and I'm trying to avoid it. Sorry if that's an unpopular opinion. But, yeah. So because I'm like, hey, I reserve the right to not be part of this conversation anymore if it gets too heated. She's like, well, that's a tactic to avoid ever dealing with the issues, which wasn't but could be a legitimate concern, because you don't want to just avoid issues forever. Like, if you got an issue with somebody and you're rooming with them, then it needs to be dealt with. Like, if it's not, I'll ignore something and I'll either get used to it or not. And if it keeps happening, if it bothers me 3 times, if it bothers me and I'm like, you know what, whatever, it's fine. And then it bothers me the next time I see it. And then I'm like, you know what, whatever, it's fine. And then the 3rd time I'm like, oh, I can't believe they're still doing that. I'm like, okay, I'm never going to be okay with this. And I'll talk to them about it. Okay? But I try. Cats and dogs living together, there's going to be some issues. I try not to, like, pick a fight about every little thing. But I do believe in resolving issues. Of course I believe in resolving issues. It's not. Why am I defending this? Why am I even defending this? So she goes, oh, it's a tactic to avoid resolving issues. It's like, if you say we'll talk about it later, then we never talk about it. I'm like, okay. So you need a time. You need like, this is when we'll talk about it. Fine. So the next time she's flipping out, screaming at me, I'm like, I'm not talking to you right now. We can talk about this tomorrow after work. she shuts down, gives me the silent treatment. The whole next day, she's acting like a real, yeah, a real bad name is what she's acting like. And so, and I again, I don't know her intentions, and I shouldn't judge that. The action's what's important, but I think she was doing it on purpose to try to make it a situation where I wouldn't want to have a conversation. But I had done, like, I'd been at work for 12 hours, and the whole time I was like, when I get home, I'm going to have this conversation, and I'm going to stay calm. I'm going to be telling myself this all day. Like, she's in my face screaming, I'm going to be the Buddha, you know? Like, I'm going to be above reproach, I'm going to remain calm, and we're going to talk this out. Because I still like her, even though she's being crazy. People have bad days, right? And she's done amazing things for me. So, still like her, you know, I'm like, okay, we'll work through this. I'll do this once. Excuse me, sorry, my throat. Oh, that's better. So, anyway, so she's not talking to me at all. Like, I get in the, she comes pick me up from work because she wants me to buy her gas rather than get an Uber. And her idea, like, yeah, sure, you know, you want to come. She doesn't take me to work because it's getting up too early in the morning. She offers to pick me up from work. Like, sure, you know, like, it's a win-win. Saves me a little bit of money, and she gets her gas tank filled. Good deal, because she's a bum and she doesn't have a job, and you know, I thought that's fine because, like, having a job sucks, and like, she's an artist, and I do like her art. It's really good. You know, and I would like there to be more art in the world, and I can afford her, so, you know, if I can keep her from having a third of her life stolen working at fucking Dollar General or whatever when she could be making beautiful art instead, if I can be the reason why that art exists, then I'm happy to do so. Like, you know, it doesn't cost that much more to get a 2-bed hotel room than a 1-bed hotel room. You know, it's filling up somebody's gas tank and, like, sharing groceries. It's not that much money. Like, you know, whatever. Not the point. Really not the point. The point is, she comes, picks me up, I say hello when I get in the truck, she just stares forward, drives like a fucking maniac. Like, I'm literally, like, closing my eyes and just, like, I just want to be loose when we have the accident, because if you tense up before the accident, that's when you get hurt. So I'm just, like, closing my eyes. I'm like, I don't see it coming, you know, because I'm less likely to get injured if I don't know it's coming. That's how she's driving. She's driving angry, like fucking Vanilla Sky, you know. She's driving angry, whatnot. I'm like, all right, here we go. I'm like, so you want to talk? And we talk. She tells me everything that's wrong with me. I'm like, okay, you know, I already apologized for that. These big generalities. I'm like, look, well, I don't see it that way. So unless you can give me some specifics, tell me a specific incident that you're talking about, you know. And she's like, well, this happened. You said this. And you called my cat greedy. I'm like, okay, well, I apologized for that. And I'm like, I now understand that you don't want me to call your cat greedy, and it won't happen again. Fine, you know. And, like, that's insane. You know, that's nuts. But if that's what makes, like, I don't need to set you off, you know. If you're sensitive about people calling your cat names, fine. It's nuts, but I can respect it. Like, I can respect I don't respect the fact that you think it, but I respect your wishes. Like, you asked me not to call the cat greedy, I won't call the cat greedy. Okay, it's nuts, but I can do it. The fact that it's nuts is not going to stop me from doing it, but I'm also not going to pretend like it's not nuts. It is nuts. You know, whatever. So, like, fucking crazy. crazy people. I don't know why I like crazy people so much. I guess it's kindred spirit in some ways. Oh, I smell weed. It happens a lot here. It's legal medicinally, and I can, at the hotel, I can smell it quite often. It smells like good weed too. Ugh. Not that I would know. I just imagine that the weed that smells like that must be good. But yeah. Where was I? I was talking about. Oh, right. So then, the final thing is, like, um, that all goes down, and now I've established that, like, okay, I will talk to you. I will resolve the issue. So now that flimsy excuse is gone, and this manipulation to force me to sit there and get yelled at for whatever reason she feels the need to do that to me. I don't think it had anything to do with it. Somehow made her feel better to yell. Like, she's been through some shit. She wants to yell at somebody. No, I'm not going to have it. I'm not going to have it. I don't need to get yelled at because you've been through some shit. That's not my fucking problem. You know, like Marla Singer's line from fucking Fight Club, Candy Stripe, or Cancer Ward. Not my problem. Goes through my head all the time when I think about stuff like this. Or fucking that goddamn lizard, that YouTube lizard. Not my chair, not my problem. That's what I say. Anyway, not my problem. So I've now, like, you can't, like, I've gotten myself above reproach on this. You can't say that I won't resolve it. I told you tomorrow after work. It was tomorrow after work. Now there's no way for you to say, oh, you're just doing this to avoid the conversation. No, you start screaming at me. I'm putting my headphones on and we're done talking. You know, like, we'll talk when you're calm. I'm not fucking doing it. I got yelled at a lot growing up, and I don't like it. I don't like being yelled at. There's no fucking need for it. I understand English at normal volumes. You don't need to scream it at me. Doesn't get into my head any better. It just gets my heart rate up, makes me want to punch you in the teeth. And I'm not allowed to punch you in the teeth. Nobody wants that. Nobody really likes, nobody sets out, wakes up, stretches, I just want to punch somebody in the teeth today. Maybe somebody does. Maybe somebody does think that. Like, you know, professional fighters. It's like, you know, it's been a while since I punched somebody in the teeth and just make my knuckles bleed a little bit. Somebody probably thinks that, but normal people don't want that. I don't want it. I don't want to punch anybody in the teeth. Most of the time, like, I don't want to punch somebody in the teeth. It happens, but I don't. I don't punch people in the teeth, and I feel like I don't get enough recognition for how many people I don't punch in the teeth. Any old who. So that's been established. So the next thing she does is she's giving me the silent treatment for like 3 days, which is fine. Like, the silent part is fine. Like, we're living in a hotel room together. I don't have a whole lot of space. The fact that you decided to shut the fuck up for 3 days, beautiful. And I like hearing her talk. I like the sound of her voice when she's not screaming at me, and I like the way she thinks when she's thinking about things other than me. And, like, she comes up with some pretty cool ideas, some abstract stuff. She's, like, also very anti-government like I am, which is cool. You know, we hate a lot of the same things. You know, like the fucking robots at Walmart and the people that stop you for your receipt and the cops pulling you over and fucking all this stuff. We, on the surface at least, we hate a lot of the same fucking societal bullshit that fucking, it's just like, you don't have to live this way. We could all just be cool to each other. There's like there's no reason for all of this, for this level of policing is unnecessary, for sure. I'd be willing to admit the possibility that me saying, like, no government at all is the way to go is a little overboard, but I feel like we could say, like, we could back the government off a little bit. Like, maybe there's a little too much policing going on. Neither here nor there. This isn't supposed to be a political rant. Point is, she decided. So it's not like that. Oh yeah, give me the silent treatment. Don't threaten me with a good time. Take my wife. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying like I'm an introvert for the most part. You know. I think it's a scale. I don't think you're one or the other, but I think I'm a bit more introverted than I am extroverted, and I don't have a problem with somebody like being quiet for 3 days, but I'll admit it irritates me that she's doing it to irritate me, which is stupid. It's stupid to let that irritate me. That's like she wins, right? She's trying to irritate me. What she's doing doesn't irritate me, but it does because I know she's doing it to irritate me, which irritates me, so she wins. If I was a little bit more of a Buddha, it wouldn't be a problem, but I got a lot of rage. I got a motorist rage boiling up in me. It's a Gangs of New York reference. Got a murderous rage boiling up in you. I like it. Anyways, fucking Daniel Day-Lewis is an amazing actor. I love that guy. That fucking scene where he's like, so when he come to finish me off, I couldn't look him in the eye. So I cut out the eye that looked away, sent it to him wrapped in blue paper, rose up with a full heart, buried him in his own blood. I'm like, it like brings tears to my eyes, gives me fucking goosebumps. I love Daniel Day-Lewis. That's such a good movie. Gangs of New York. Not the point. Where was I? We were talking about. Do you think you're deflecting, Ben, because this is an emotional story to tell, and you're not really ready to deal with your feelings? It's quite possible, Dr. Phil. It's quite possible that that's what's going on. Where was I in my story? Rabbit trails. I was talking about. Oh, right. So she's giving me the silent treatment, and like 3 days we go by, and finally, I caved. I'll admit it. I tapped out. I threw in the towel. I lost. It was a fight. It was a war of attrition, and I lost. She beat me fair and square. I was like, hey, are you gonna be like this to me forever? It was like 3 days in. I was like, are you gonna be like this to me forever? I was like, I got this girl here that I'm paying for. You know what I mean? Like and I don't want there to be strings attached, but I'm like, why am I paying to have a person in my hotel room that doesn't like me? This isn't a prostitution situation. You're not required